Welcome to the second of four-part series of my school years in writing. And this part will contain all my writing throughout my sophomore year. So please hit that subscribe button for more creative and writing content on this channel. So a little recap of my sophomore year. Eh, I'll say it was the most challenging year I had because I felt like I wasn't able to get too much of my English work done. I felt very distracted. The environment, it just wasn't a a space that I could just write to my heart's content. It was very restricted, and I felt like I wanted to move classrooms in a way, but you know I can't just throw fits about that. But I have a lot of essays and different writing stuff that I want to show you. So this is a essential question that we go over each unit and or each 6 weeks that we have. And this one is about encouraging words and why they matter. I provide an example of why encouraging words matter and how that impacted me. And yeah, it um was something that I was not expecting to write about personally. And as you can see, it starts with all those on all those statement, and you're going to see this a lot in my writing. All those statement as my thesis because my sophomore year teacher would want us to have all those statement every single time. Like she would no more than a 70 if we didn't have a all those statement in there. It's like although da, 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 and now I can't write a thesis statement without an although statement. So yeah, I really had to thank my English 2 teacher. So the next one, so this is another essential question. Um Paragraph with another although statement. So it is talking about how people are similar. However, how are they different from um, point of view and age. That was an interesting one as well. This one is whenever the class read a short story. It's called Lamb to the Slaughter, and we had to write about how the character Mary, uh, what was it? Oh yes, how she developed, and gosh, it was so surprising whenever we read it, and yeah, and there's this although statement, and we had to have this certain structure with the although statement, and since this was a story, we had to have the although, the author's name, and then the title, and then whatever the topic was, and which was um how the author developed the character. And you had to have examples with that as well. And I it was okay. However, whoever graded I don't think she gave you a good grade or she didn't like it. And I wasn't satisfied with my grade, so I had to go to her for tutoring to get a better grade because I knew I deserved better. So this one is another essay. Yes, we wrote a lot of essays in sophomore year. Everyone was not liking the class because of the workload, and it was a regular class. So like, why are we like writing essay? And yeah, it felt like we didn't get a break. And this is based on 12 Angry Men. So that this was a drama that we read about 12 jurors. Yes. And they're trying to prove whether someone is innocent or guilty. So, yeah. So that's like about a page for me. It's been a little bit since I last read it. Oh, okay. So this one is my personal narrative. So I had this based on basketball my 7th grade year whenever I made the basketball team in middle school. And the teacher, she wanted us to have a hook, like not just like okay, like a not just a generic hook, like something to um catch the reader's attention. Um and what I did was put spoiler alert. And I was like, I have been playing basketball since I was 9 years old and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty good and all that stuff. And I really like it. I'm looking at the sentence. It was my chance to prove to myself, my teammates, and coach why I am something on this team. Um, yeah, that is very good. And the first body paragraph, I go over. Uh, what was it? Oh, okay, okay. So this is okay. So this is whenever I was finally on the A team. Oh my gosh, yeah. I remember that pretty well because at first I was on B team with me working hard, and it allowed me to get promoted onto A team. And yeah, this really tells a story. I remember this one. Oh yes, yes, I remember this one so clearly. I'm going to read it. There were 8 seconds left before halftime, and I had a chance of a lifetime to make a legendary moment. The ball was in my possession. I was on the left side of the court. Then I began running the court, dribbling. Nothing was on my mind. I could have passed the ball to Cameron, who was closer to half court, but I refused. I went for a layup that was far away from the basket, but I had no choice except to shoot. When I realized that ball, I was hoping for a miracle. Then, when the buzzer went off, the ball made it into the basket and the crowd cheered. I was in shock, tears falling down my face, like, what? I just stunned the world. And that was really a amazing moment and something I could never forget. And the conclusion even says something about it, but hey, at least I scored something. And I think those were my first points. Like, yeah. But overall, it actually encouraged me to not only do better, um, but also be better. What I mean by that sentence, like do better in all the things I do, but also be better as a person, living day by day. And I felt like proving myself as a person that I'm worth something. That you can't just disregard me because like this and that. Like I have things that I can put on the table, and there's so much more that I can offer. Oh, and funny thing to know, a different teacher actually graded this essay and failed me. I had to go to my teacher to get tutoring, and I got a 98 on this. And I'm just like, why didn't she just grade it herself? Like like she told me that all the teachers like kind of mixed up like some of the essays, like different teachers graded different students that weren't theirs, and like that was very frustrating. And I've never had a failing essay before, and I was like, I'm so thankful that I went to my English teacher and addressed it with her, because if I had not, I would have been like, I don't think I would be the same person. So this next one is a poetry comparison. So the poems were Unlearn My Name and Names. They both relate with names. And it's a comparison and contrast. And this was poetry was unit 2 for us. And it wasn't bad. Like poems were not my favorite thing in sophomore year, but it was something that kept the class going. It was like not entirely a break from essay writing, but this one was supposed to be um a little bit more fun and like more that you can express your feelings. And with names like that um brings a sense of identity and like who you are as a person. Like a name can mean so many things. And yeah, let's see. Is there anything that stands out that let's see. Okay. So I did say through metaphor and imagery. Sometimes I forget what imagery is. So funny. Uh let's see. Okay. Okay, so I have not an analogy. I guess like an anecdote kinda of how like I had my personal experience of it. Veto is telling how she was born from her mother's womb. I can relate to that by my mom giving birth to me. So I said I was feet first and I had to be cut out of my mom's womb to be born. I could relate to that. And let's see, what does it say? Where is it? Huh. I guess I just gotta read the the poem again. I don't know. It's been a long time, like I said. But truth be told, I think that really stood out to me. Like November and December, we were reading a lot of things based on World War II. And I was like, why are we learning history in an English class? Like, like I would love to learn this like in a history class, but in an English class, it just feels like a little out of place. But actually learning more about this topic in an English class brings more to the table and an understanding of different perspectives. The topic was about like discrimination as prejudice, and we were reading about it from the article "Anti-Jewish Legislation in Pre-War Germany," and yes, it's very informational and only a page long. We have another one. So we also learned about the Holocaust. All this is actually it is actually a very emotional topic to learn about, and it's just very important. It's important. This one was a little bit more like towards the star test, I'll say. So this is how the author is using tone and attitude in the story. So very interesting. So her word choice is about the word choice to express the tone and attitude. Tone and attitude are basically the same word. Um, but yeah, and I said the use of consent and ease. Okay, let's see. So I have the definition consent that is to give assent or approval. Is I said in my commentary that the author felt uncomfortable about observing animals in a zoo setting. Uh, let's see, and then how the animals cannot speak to us to consent for us to watch them. Wow. So this definitely brought a sense of um like like we are like as if we're invading their privacy and like leave me alone and like all that stuff. And yeah, and whenever I talk about ease, so the author hopes to feel when she's visiting a zoo. That does make sense. Okay, let's see. So ease is a feeling that she doesn't get when viewing animals in zoos. Yet it's a feeling she wished that she experienced. I wish I went more in depth with that one, cause me reading this now, I'm like, what was I talking about here? It's like I can understand the consent, but the ease, I'm not too sure about because I'm like, um, so yeah, and I'm definitely noticing a trend with this. With my sophomore self, I was more into like writing the essay, I tried to get it done by a certain deadline. And still having good execution in the writing. However, it just felt so forced that I didn't allow myself to like put myself all in there. And I felt like a topic that was forcing me to like have this certain structure to satisfy the teacher. So this is a letter. So this was a fake letter, as if we actually wrote it to Angie Thomas, the author of uh, what's that book called? Her book was one of the options that we could choose from. So, so it would help if I would read this. Like, yeah, oh, I wish. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Yes. And then in the class, I wrote another letter. This was actually a test grade. Writing a fake letter once again to a Texas representative. Oh, it's about okay. It's about social media being banned. So interesting topic. Let's see. Although certain members of your conservative representative believe that social media should be banned, my classmates of teenagers would be furious if social media was taken away from them. Now, for someone who is not a social media person, like wow. But I was just trying to get into their shoes and how they would feel. Like they would be very mad because like they're like that's like their connections and like how they can put themselves out there. So yes. And and yes, I do use that social media has addictive apps that keep teens on their phones much longer than they need and all that stuff. Quotes that I have. And I even have a let's see. Okay, so my second idea was about social media taking control of a person's identity. And that is truly sad. Whenever like social media just not only takes over you like, digitally, like your persona, like and how you act, like that is really something. And just to be a certain way and social media just has these unrealistic expectations. I think that's why I'm getting out of this, especially in this paragraph as well. Let's see. The social dilemma film. I think this was a short film or something, but it explores how social media is an addiction to humans, like they can't live without it. Oh no, this was actually a documentary in on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but if it is, you can check it out. It's called The Social Dilemma, and it is a very interesting documentary about social media. And then let's see. Yeah, pretty much after I said all of this and all that stuff. Oh, but okay, but it is also that you believe in individual rights, and taking away the rights people have on social media contradicts your beliefs as state representative. So counter this is the counter argument of if you take social media away. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. But in a fake letter. I'm glad it's a fake letter, but still. So, yeah. And once again, I said, my classmates and teenagers would be furious if social media was taken away from them. However, I believe that it should be away from my age group. It should be away from my age group. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just like social media can still be around, but keep it on my age group. So, oh my gosh. This next one is an argument of a research essay that covered about cancel culture. So the class took a vote of 3 or 4 topics that we were going to debate about, and we chose about we overall chose cancel culture. I really didn't know cancel culture existed till we were studying debate in that class. But I really like this first paragraph about, have you ever been the talk of the conversation in which people wouldn't stop talking about how great you are? Then when you did something that was wrong, people will go after you wishing that you did exist. All the negative energy going inside a person completely takes over them, and as a result, they stop. Although canceling culture can be an effective way to hold people responsible, it is wrong due to how much it could affect a person's life. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in. And this was like separate from the actual debate. I didn't really like the debate, and that's a whole nother story. No. And I was a researcher, so I did my part in researching and getting all the sources, make sure everyone had it. So yeah, and had the definition of cancel, and have an example right there. Yeah, very interesting. My quotes were long, and my commentary, another quote, more commentary. There's something that I really like in here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's my my commentary here. So let's read this whole thing. This diction is a great example of the First Amendment, freedom of speech, where people come together and speak their opinions to one another. No one has the power or authority to take that right away, because the founding fathers created the Bill of Rights inside that document of an agreement of the people's rights. The three unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, demonstrates rights that have always been given to us since the beginning of time. And if something in our nation seems unjust, we will do something about it. Man, that was really strong. Oh, I think I have one more thing. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my gosh, do I have it? Okay. Oh no, I like this call to action. I want to highlight the call to action. I love the call to action. I think this is one of my favorite call to actions. So when you are on a social media platform, be mindful of what you post about someone, or if you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And that is my sophomore year. And before I wrap this up, I'll say sophomore year was actually my most challenging year. English 2 was my least favorite class that I took. It was partially because of the curriculum into uh, into English 2, but it's more the teacher, like her instructions weren't all the way clear, and at times it was like a real struggle to get through her class, and there are definitely times that I had to push through and learn from that class. Like, yeah, there are definitely gonna be challenges even with the things that you love doing, and I felt very, very tempted what I was writing, and if I want to keep writing, I'm like, but thankfully it is over, and I have moved on to bigger and better things, and oh, and also the last day of school, whenever I was in that class, I did finish my novella series that day. So that was a big, big, big plus. And I hope I see you for the next video in the series, which I will cover my junior year in writing. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.